This just revealed everything about the Padres, as these players' performances will impact our chances at making the playoffs and maybe further beyond. I think we should talk about that. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest with your host, Andrew. Today we have probably going to be a nice and long episode. I wanted this to be like a podcast kind of thing, so I don't know if this is going to come out on Sunday or Monday. I haven't decided yet, but if you're on your way to work and you want to put something on to listen to, I hope I can fill that need for you. Because today we're going to talk about our first half performances. Now, obviously, I wanted to make this video a while ago, but again, my computer broke, so I wasn't able to make this video, but I've had it in the works for a while now. So what I have for you is I have an article. It's from, let me double check, East Village Times, and it's just a report card for every player's performances in the first half. So I have that, and I have my opinions on it, and then I also have my personal grade for every aspect of the team, so like offense, defense, stuff like that, right? So we're going to go through all of it. Bear with me. I think it'll be fun, though. I think we'll have a nice, enjoyable little chat, and who doesn't love chatting about Padres baseball? So let's start with just this initial reaction. Good first half overall. Overcame injuries and underperformance, was never far out of the playoff hunt. Get King back early August, get a real catcher and overall hitting reinforcements, and onwards re-roll. Yeah, I mean, I guess a good broad way to state everything. I feel like never far out of the playoff hunt isn't really a good... Well, I guess playoff hunt, yes. I was thinking more like division. I mean, it's the... So just to be clear, I'm recording this on Saturday. So there's a game, I'm recording this on Friday, so there's a game in like an hour, and then the 2 games, and then if I record this on Monday, it'll be after a series. So no games have started up yet for me. When I do this in the future, I'll make it more up to date, but I just wanted to record this out of the way because I got a lot to do. But that's besides the point, right? So Dodgers have lost 7 straight games as of this recording, and obviously that affects their standings, and we're like 5 games out now or something like that. So technically, yes, the division's still in reach, but the Dodgers aren't going to win 7 straight games again, probably for the rest of the year. And if they do, fantastic. So I don't know if I can really state at even if we make moves that the division's really in our future sights, our future prospects. We're going to be a wild card team, and that's just the reality of it. And I think we've all known that since the beginning of the year, even before that. So playoff hunt, yes, we're still definitely in the playoff hunt, and I can show you. I know Christian made a video just recently about rest of schedule strength. I don't know exactly where this picture is, but I'm going to find it. Up here it is, first one, first try. So as you can see, remaining strength of schedule, hardest, Red Sox, Reds, White Sox, Marlins, Rockies. People like them have a hard remaining strength of schedule. Near the bottom, though, we are at 23rd. And the Dodgers, sadly, are 27th. So they're going to have a much easier time than everybody, but we're still going to have a relatively easy time. And I'm pretty sure we're playing the Nationals coming back. Obviously, that series would have already happened. I would have already made a bunch of game recaps. I'm sad that I broke my game recap streak because of the whole computer debacle, but we're back into it. Yeah, we're playing Washington, so that'll be fun. But yeah, so we're going to start off, I don't want to say easy, because I feel like Washington always kind of low-key gives us some hard times because of our backup or our old prospects, you know what I mean? Like James Wood, all of them. So we'll see how that goes. You'll already know how it went, but I haven't. But yeah, I mean, 23, that does definitely give me a good amount of hope that we have a good playoff chance, and I have this number 2. So playoff odds, FanGraphs, Dodgers, of course, like 99, Chicago, 93. We are at 6th at a 48.7%. So it's not like we're out of it, but it's a 50-50 toss-up. But technically, we would still be in the wild card because we're number 6. San Francisco right below us with a 44.8. And then below that's 28 with St. Louis. So I don't say we don't have to worry about St. Louis and teams like Cincinnati. Arizona's at a 10%. So believe it or not, Colorado, 0%. But yeah, I mean, it looks good, especially because the National League's not like amazing this year. There's a lot of good teams, but a lot of like should be better teams, if that makes sense, including us and the Giants. But I think for right now, I like our 48.7% odds, because I do think this remaining strength of schedule is going to benefit us a lot more than it's going to hurt us, obviously. But let's start with the player deep dives, player grading. So I'm going to read you the beginning of this article, and I'll present you the grades. I didn't one-for-one copy exactly what they said. I ran it through ChatGPT, my best friend, and I got some shorter Cliff Note versions of everything. But if I have to read the article, I will. There's no pressing time for this. So let's start with the nice little article. A little bit long, but again, this is for podcast people, so I'll read everything for you guys so you don't have to like look at your screen while you're driving, because you definitely should not be doing that. But coming in at 52-44, San Diego's first half of 2025 has been one to remember, not because they have thrived, nor because they have disappointed, instead because of the variance between the extremely high points and the frustratingly low points. San Diego opened the year with 7 straight wins. They set a new franchise record for an 11-0 start at Petco Park. They led the MLB in ERA and looked to be one of the best offensive teams in the field as well. The bullpen looked like 8 high-leverage arms. Tatis Jr. looked all the way back to his 2021 form. Manny Machado didn't regress, he improved. Jackson Merrill appeared to mature even further and was signed to a team-friendly extension. There was nothing negative to point out at the beginning of the season. Wow, do I miss that. I miss that. But there was nothing negative. We said that one. So that was until Tatis Jr. went out on a 2-month slump. Ace pitcher Michael King went down, likely until August. Jackson Merrill ran into injury problems and went on a little bit of a slump on his own. Dylan Cease lost his feel for the slider. Mediocrity creeped up on San Diego faster than Ricky Henderson could get down the line. And it's been a tale of unexpected rises and frustrating fallers. When examining the player's individual production, Gavin Sheets has been a hot month away from turning into last year's Jurickson Profar. Meanwhile, all 3 of the San Diego's catching options have fallen under a 200 batting average while turning in below average defense. Here's our assessment of how each player has fared in the first half of 2025. So like I said, this is from East Village Times. The person who wrote this was Willie Warren. So shout out and full credit to Willie Warren. So let's start with our catching situation. Catcher Elias Diaz, their grade was an F. My personal grade I would give them is also an F. Batting average and slugging dropped significantly from 2024, and his swing and miss numbers climbed. Framing has been poor, 48th among 58 qualifying catchers in framing runs, which is pretty bad, right? But Martin Maldonado, our second catcher option, who also was given an F, my grade, again, an F. Really, I'd give it an F- because I think Elias Diaz was slightly better. Not by a lot, but slightly better, right? Martin Maldonado's hitting line sits at a dismal 178 average, 221 on base, 295 slug, and a 516 OPS. StatCast ranks him as the 3rd worst defensive catcher in MLB, which is horrible when the whole reason we got Martin Maldonado is that he was supposed to be good on defense. But we've all seen firsthand what's that like, or what that is like. Not great, right? So that's our catching situation. Obviously horrible. So moving on to some position players. Firstly, Luis Arraez, first base, with a B grade. My personal grade was a B-, so a little worse. Batting .283 with 5 homers and walks up slightly, matching his 2024 weighted runs created plus. No defensive gains, yet he's holding down the everyday job well. So yeah, I'm not going to disagree with the defensive part. He's played a lot better defense than I thought he would, but it's still not anything like crazy. It's fine, right? It's fine for what we've asked for him. The homers and walks, obviously I want him to walk, right? But I think genuinely the homers have been slightly detrimental to him. And I don't mean that a home run's a bad thing, right? But you've seen it all year that his swing path has gone a lot more, or has resulted in a lot more pop outs and just higher swing angles. Because this year, I don't think I saw it last year, but this year especially, I feel like at least once a game he has to pop out. And not like a deep pop out, but like a routine pop out. You know what I mean? So something has changed about his swing angle this year, and it's definitely affected his overall output. But I wouldn't say overall that it's been bad. because he's definitely picked it up recently. He fell off a little bit before the end of the break, and I don't know how he's going to do, obviously, for the next couple of games. But I think a B minus is fair. Personally, a B's fine. I'm okay with a B, right? But me personally, B minus. I think he could be doing better till he gets above a 300 average. And not that what he's at is bad, but for Luis Arraez, that's the kind of player you expect to hit 300. That's just simple and plain like that, right? Jake Cronenworth, on the other hand, they were given a B plus. I agree, a B plus. Both are B pluses. Sports a 352 on base percentage and a 120 weighted runs created. As always, 100 is a average, 120 is better than average. With team leading 13.4% walk rate, solid defense, and nearing a 1.6 plus WAR pace. Let me see if I can go bring up his stats on this side, but I feel like a lot of people aren't giving him the credit he deserves, because everyone expects him to be like the best thing. I forget that my keyboard is tied to my OBS, so hold on, we'll go back, give me a sec. Okay, sorry, I spoiled it a little bit, but I was saying, sorry, Jake Cronenworth, I feel like a lot of people give him not crap, but like they don't really understand the full picture of him, right? So obviously a 238 average, not great, right? But his on base is better now than it has been since his breakout year in 2020. So 354, a walk is a walk, right? We don't care how you get on base. We've seen Moneyball. So yes, you could say that he's not as good as a hitter as he once was, but I don't think his value is completely all in just hitting. I think his value and the type of player he is, and that's why we should like him, is that he goes out every single day, plays any position. Obviously, he'll play second or first or shortstop, but mostly second. But he'll play anywhere you put it. Sure, if you asked him to play outfield, he would. He goes out, he plays a solid defense. He gives his best at-bats. He's had clutch at-bats, he's had not clutch at-bats, but he'll always try his best. And that's honestly all you need from him. And his contract, yeah, you could say he's not living up to his contract. In reality, his contract is pretty fairly valued for the kind of production we're getting out of him, especially with the rising market and player cost. You know what I mean? So while he's not like the star we thought he could have been, say like 2020, I think he's just a solid everyday player. And sometimes we just need, if we had a team of 9 Jake Cronenworths that just played solid baseball every day, well, I don't know if I can call 238 average a solid, but he's fine, right? 404 slug. He's a good to solid player. If we had 9 good to solid players, 9 Jake Cronenworths, I think this would be a pretty good team. Not a playoff team, but a pretty good team. Luckily, we are not a team of 9 Jake Cronenworths. So I just think Jake Cronenworth's a solid player. That's all I ought to say about that. Third base, Manny Machado, an A. My grade, also an A. Recorded 14 homers since May 22nd, 56 RBIs, and remains elite in exit velocity and strike metrics. Hit career milestone 350 home runs, 100 at Petco, and 2,000 hits overall. So yeah, I remember beginning of the year, we were all worried about Manny Machado because he only had like 3 home runs, and it was like, what, mid-May or something? And then he completely just picked it up, went insane. And we know even or odd years are usually Machado's years. I mean, 2023, he was like, what, second in MVP voting. So Machado has definitely been the offensive leader on this team, right? You could say Shildt has had a better year than Machado. I don't know why you would, but obviously we'll get into Shildt later. But Manny Machado has always been a solid player, and this year has definitely been more solid for him. It's been a good year overall for Machado. Obviously, his defense hasn't been as good as it's been, but his defense has always been slowly falling off over the course of the years. But again, he's getting older, right? No one's going to hold that against him. So when you sign Machado, you know what you're going to get. And so far, we've gotten that out of him. So that's why, especially this year, I think he's deserving of an A. Happy for him. He'll probably be a team MVP. He could get some MVP votes. He'll never win with Shohei Ohtani being in the same league as him. But, you know, I am super happy with how Machado's played this year, and you should too. People have called Machado unclutch. I don't know why you would say that, to be honest. I mean, I've posted this on comments somewhere, but like his stats this year aren't as good as they've been in the clutch, but they're still solid, right? I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. I probably can't, but you know what? If you want to hate on him for that, sure, fine, whatever, right? I'm not gonna do that because I'm not a mean person. So yeah, I can't find the stats. That's okay though. But yeah, that's how I feel about Manny Machado. Next, of course, our hot topic, Xander Bogaerts, shortstop, with a B plus from them. I'm leaning more towards a B minus. Still a B, right? I'm not going to say a B is a bad thing, but I don't know if I can give him a B plus just yet. He did have a turnaround mid first half, a 372 average, 183 weighted runs created plus, 982 OPS after an early slump, and has enjoyed his best defensive year yet per run value. First things first, absolutely, his defense has gotten so much better this year. I don't know if playing second like helped him somehow or just him missing shortstop, but he has played so much better this this year on defense, and I absolutely love it. His arm is still something I wish was a little better. Like I wish he threw a little harder, but I mean, he gets people out. That's all that really matters, right? I don't know if he's been playing good since what, like maybe mid-June. I feel like maybe I don't have the exact numbers at my head, in my head. You know what I mean? But I feel like you just can't really excuse the way he's played in the beginning of the year. Like there was some games out there where like genuinely his poor play could have cost us and probably did cost us a few games. So I feel like giving him a B plus would kind of excuse that performance. And I did bring up some numbers. So last 30 games, he's had a 333 average, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. Last 7 games at a 429 average. So he's obviously played a lot better recently, and I hope that can carry over. I don't know how it will, but I hope it does. If it does carry over, I think he could be a solid A option at the end of the year, but I don't think it's going to carry over. Not that I'm trying to like wish for his downfall, but I think a B minus is fair for the reality of how he played at the beginning of the year. Because I genuinely thought, and a lot of people did, that we were going to have to trade him like Eric Hosmer or just cut him and eat the contract. But I'm okay. I'm okay with Xander Bogaerts right now. I'm actually happy for Xander Bogaerts right now. Who else I'm happy for, of course, left field Gavin Shildt, an A. My grade, an A minus. I might be being a little too harsh, but I think an A minus is fair for him. Sorry, just knocked my mic a little bit. Breakout year, of course, 265, 324, 451 slash line for Shildt with 14 home runs, already surpassing last year's total by a lot, I'm pretty sure. But jumped to league average defense after early struggles. Yeah, that's why I'm not super stressed about left field. I still like him more as a DH, but if we can't get a better defender at left field, I'm okay with Shildt. Not that he's like the answer, but he's a solid option. So let's see. So in 2024, he had 10 home runs? So yeah, he's already at 14 now. So of course he passed it. And he's just been a different hitter overall. I think this is definitely his best year ever in his career. Average wise, it is 265. Home runs wise, it already is. Well, 2022, he has 15, but maybe by the time this video comes out, he'll be at 15. RBI, he's about to pass. Excuse me, had the burp real quick. So yeah, I mean, you can't look at Gavin Shildt year and say it was not you can't look at this year and say it was bad. Clearly, it's a good year. It's his best year. I do think there was some times where he was super cold and he would go for like 0 for 4 with like 3 strikeouts, stuff like that, right? So I think for those cold reasons, those cold stretches, I can't give him a solid A. But again, I'm being nitpicky, so an A minus. I would take an A minus any day of the week. So we'll give full props to Gavin Shildt. Again, I kind of wish he was a DH because he can hit from both. He can hit well against both handedness of pitchers. But again, if we don't have another option, I'm okay with Gavin Shildt at left field. Next, Jackson Merrill with a C plus from them, our center fielder. I just gave him a solid C. Sidelined by hamstring and concussion, then hit a slump post return. Showed excellent defense and arm with flashes of offensive upside. But yeah, Jackson Merrill, I feel like he just hasn't been good at all yet this year. He just had that 2 home run game, was it? So yeah, we're happy with that, but his average just completely dropped off, and we've seen it. So right now he's at a 263, 328, 416 slash line. So, and I think the thing that really gives him a C in my eyes is just his plate discipline. Yes, I know he's never been like a true walk savant, right? Like he doesn't like the walk. He's hit it himself. But some of the pitches that he's been swinging at this year has just been so ugly, so awful that like it's not C plus worthy in my eyes. But his defense has been really good. It's not on the rankings. I guess I can show you. I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere. Hello, All-Star Pictures. I love Jason Adams' picture on the right there. It looks so goofy. But if I bring up, I don't know where it is, so I'm gonna have to find it. Outs above average leaders. Oh, I can show you this though for Xander Bogaerts. Defensive statistics, but MLB outs above average leaders. Number 1, Nick Allen with plus 16, but number 5 with plus 7, Xander Bogaerts. Above Francisco Lindor, which is crazy. Crazy that Trey Turner is better. I never knew Trey Turner as a good defender, but apparently he's good this year. But yeah, I guess I don't have the full outfield statistics yet, but you can see much Tatis number 1 up there, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, I mean, Jackson Merrill, defense-wise, good. Offensive has something left to desire, but I think second half, I think we've known that he's a second half performer based off his performance last year. So I think he can grow into at least a B plus player. I just don't know if he's going to have that same output that he did last year, and that's okay. He's young. It's a sophomore slump. It happens. We're not going to hate him for it. But yeah, that's pretty much Jackson Merrill. Moving on to Fernando Tatis Jr. I guess now I can bring up this graphic. MLB outs above average leaders for right fielders. He is at plus 9 at number 1 overall. And then number 2 is at plus 5, which is Sal Frelick. So he's 4 above and outs above average leader for right field. So that's probably going to mean, hopefully, if everything stays the same, he's going to be a Gold Glover for this year, which is great. Not great offensively. We'll talk about that right now. He flew out of the gate with a 358 average and 213 weighted runs created plus in his first 21 games, then cooled off. And by cooled off, I mean really cooled off. Like, he didn't hit a home run for like a month or something like that. But he's still, like you said, still leads right fielders and fielding run value. So he's really good on defense. Hitting-wise, though, something about it, I don't know if I said his grade yet, sorry, but they gave him a B. I gave him a B minus because his hitting, and like, I'm not saying he needs to become like 2021 Tatis where he had like, what, 40 home runs to end the year. I'm not saying he has to do that, but for the cost that we're paying him, I want him to at least hit 30. And he didn't hit 30 last year. He didn't hit 30 in 23. I just feel like he should be a 30 home run kind of guy for the money we're paying him. I don't think that's too much of a hot take to say. I'm not saying he needs to hit 15 million home runs to be a good player, but for what his game is and should be a 5-tool player, I don't think 30 home runs is unrealistic for us to expect from him. And not even just home runs, but his strikeouts have technically been better. It's just, he's a strikeout guy. We know that. He's a strikeout guy. He's always going to be a strikeout guy. And then in 2019, he only had 110 strikeouts, apparently, in 84 games. Well, I guess that's pretty even, because we're at 102 games, so that's fine. I was going to make a point, but that's pretty moot. But yeah, I think he's been better, but I'm not going to give up on him, obviously. So that's how I feel about him. And then next we'll have utility player Jose Iglesias. They gave him a C. I gave him a C plus because I'm trying to be nice. But he does have average power and slugging, or his average power and slugging are down significantly from 2024. No homers yet. And his defense has also slipped lower, though he's brought some value on the bases. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try to say that he's not a disappointment from what he was last year, but I don't know. I think for what he brings to the team, he does a fine job. And that's why I gave him a C+. Like, we've definitely won games because of him, but obviously we've lost games because of him. But you can say that about a team effort, you know what I mean? So you can't just say straight up, hey, this player's the reason we lost, because that's just rude, right? But I'm sure you could say that if you wanted to. But I think Jose Iglesias is a good bench piece defensively and an okay bat off the bench. We should absolutely trade for a bench bat. But Jose Iglesias is a good bench piece, in my opinion, right? If he starts every day, yeah, we're going to see his flaws. But for every once in a while, and he'll fill, second base, third base, shortstop, I think he's fine. I think I'm happy to have him on his team. Other player I love utility-wise, Tyler Wade, C+. For them, my grade also a C+, same level as Jose Iglesias. Tyler Wade plays anywhere and everywhere and is a good to solid level defender at all positions, besides like catcher, obviously. And he did improve his OBP by 30 points over 2024, showing better plate discipline. And I remember there's a time earlier on the year before like he was called up, because he didn't make the major league roster, but when he did get called up, and I think it was Tatis who was out, probably, it's always Tatis, but he played a pretty good offense and a pretty good defense while they were gone. Obviously, it's mellowed out, and he's still not like a great hitter, but he's fast, he plays anywhere, and he's a cool dude. What more could you ask for from a bench piece? I think the fact that he can play anywhere is the whole entire reason he should be on this team and should be on this team in the future. I'm not saying sign him to like a 5-year, like $20 million contract or whatever, but for what we have, and I'm pretty sure he still has plenty of arbitration left on his contract, I like him on the team, and you should too. Okay, sorry. Water break. Where are we? Did that one. Let's do this one. We're going on to pitchers. Is that everybody? Yeah, okay, pitchers. Starting pitchers, Michael King, B+. I gave him a B-. I'll explain why in a sec. Injured shoulder cut his season short, but he posted a strong 2.59 ERA in 10 starts and recorded a complete game shutout and is expected back in August. So yeah, he was good while he was here. I mean, at the beginning of the year, he wasn't as good as he's been, so that's what hurts him a little bit. And it does say right here, after a shaky opening day start, King was strong, finished with a 2.59, yeah. But just like, I just don't think he's played enough to warrant a B+. And obviously his skills are higher than a B+, but that and the fact that he slept on his shoulder and screwed over our season, that gave him a B-. Obviously that's a little petty, but I'm petty. You know this about me. But yeah, I mean, when he's here, he's one of the best. Not just on the team, in the league. Problem is, he's not here. And he won't be here until probably mid to late next month, August. Another player, though, that's obviously been disappointing, Dylan Cease. I just recorded and probably posted already. Yeah, I did post already why we should keep Dylan Cease. But right now, he's at a D. And my grade, I agree, is at a D. Posted a troubling 4.88 ERA with 15 home runs allowed, and although chase and whiff rates have improved, the results haven't followed. So watch that video if you haven't, where I've kind of explained the reasons that Dylan Cease has gone bad. Not fully, but a little bit. The fact that his command isn't as good, and that people are figuring him out due to the fact that he throws like 2 pitches consistently. Even though he has a bigger arsenal, he's not using them as much. So I think D for right now, but could go up to at least a B if he fixes his pitching mechanics. But right now, he's not looked great, right? He's looked good. Like, he's looked good, especially at the beginning of the games, but he's just fallen off later at bats. And I, again, talked about that in the video I made. But for right now, he'll be at a D, and he'll continue being at a D unless he figures things out, which I hope and pray he will. Nick Pivetta is our next one. They gave him an A. I was generous. I gave him an A+, because I do think he deserves it. Leads Padres pitchers in WAR behind fastball/curve combo. His curve and high spin fastball have been effective in keeping hitters off balance. So obviously A, this is probably the best pitcher on our team, starting pitcher-wise, which I know we have Dylan Cease and Michael King on our team. Well, it's probably not fair to conclude Dylan Cease, but we have Michael King on our team, but I think Nick Pivetta has been the best pitcher on this team. And not only best pitcher right now, but like best pitching he's ever done in his entire career. Like, he's literally never pitched this good and for this long, because we're already halfway done with the season. A little bit more, technically. Ooh, my voice is cracking. A little bit more than technically, 2.88 ERA. So when you sign a pitcher and take a risk on him, and he performs not just better than you expected, but like beyond better than you expected, that's an A+ performance on my book. In my book. On my book? Whatever. Speaking is hard. But yeah, I just thought that was a really fair assessment for Nick Pivetta, an A+. Next is Randy Vasquez. They gave him a B. I am cruel. I gave him a C+. So Randy Vasquez did lower his ERA up over a run from 2024, embraced pitching the contact strategy. And his sinker sweeper combo has improved, though control has been a concern. So yeah, Randy Vasquez, he is good, right? Like, he's a good pitcher right now, but I've said it a billion times and I'll say it again. He's a very lucky pitcher. His expected ERA was like almost at a 5 or a 6, but yeah, and his ERA has been slowly climbing over the course of the year. So right now he's at a 380, and at some point it was like a 340 or a 330, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. And if you look at the previous 30 games, 380, not bad. Last 15, 438 ERA. Last 7, 350. I know ERA is not like a be-all, end-all of pitching stats, but it's a good way to look at it. An easy way to look at it, I guess you would say. But I don't know. I think he's just been getting really lucky. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Obviously, I'm happy that he's getting lucky, but skills-wise, I don't think giving him a B would be fair due to that luck that he gets literally all the time. So I think a C+ is fair, but let me know what you guys feel about that. Next, of course, Dylan Cease with a D. We just did that one. They put Dylan Cease on here twice. I think I did. Hold on. Am I crazy? Yeah, I absolutely put Dylan Cease here twice. That's okay. So on ChatGPT, it forgot. Well, actually, no, I don't have that one on here. Okay, never mind. Ignore me. But yeah, that was weird. But I guess we'll skip to Ryan Bergert, who has an A- for the year. I agree, an A-. Young arm, flashing strong fastball and slider sweeper with a 284 ERA and 6 starts. Impressive early season outings against tough lineups. So yeah, I mean, Ryan Bergert's looked a lot better than I guess all of us have expected. If you say no, you're lying. I don't see him on the roster right now, probably because he's in AAA, I think. I'll find him right now. But you've put him out there and he's pitched well. 284 ERA right now. Okay, yeah. So he's pitched a 284 ERA so far this year. I mean, he's only had 6 starts, 10 games, right? Maybe giving him an A- is a little too generous because his sample size isn't huge, but like the sample size we've given him, he's pitched well. I mean, starting wise, his first start was against the Giants, Milwaukee, Arizona, Dodgers, Philadelphia. Like, those are some of the best teams in the league. And I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. So the fact that Ryan Bergert puts up those numbers with those kind of teams, that's crazy. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to start the entire year because, again, him and Kolek are like relatively new to starting, or at least in a major league setting. So, yeah, I take with that information as you will. But I think I'm genuinely been impressed, and I think he could be a genuine option for the rest of not just this year, but future. He's 25. He's got plenty of control. He could be a solid number 4, number 5 starter in this rotation, and he could be a number 3 in other rotations, in my opinion. But yes, next we'll move on to the bullpen. I know I did forget Stephen Kolek because ChatGPT forgot Stephen Kolek, but I have it on the last one. But I'll have to do a scene swap because I ran out of graphic space. But that's besides the point, right? First, we're going to start off with Robert Suarez. They gave him a B+. I gave him a B. He leads the NL in saves, and I think the major leagues in saves with 28. Solid strikeout percentage at 26.7 and walk percentage 7.5%. ERA is a modest 3.54, but his changeup has improved significantly. So yeah, there's aspects of Robert Suarez that definitely have improved from last year. I still think last year was his best year besides the point where he fell off near the end of the year. But he's been good this year. I mean, he hasn't walked as much. He's gotten obviously a lot of saves. I just feel like recently he hasn't filled me with that security that I wish a closer would fill me with. Because I feel like I have to sweat every time he comes to close. He is closing games out. Like, he only has, like, I think, like 2 or 3 blown saves, but they're stressful. They are stressful. It reminds me of a couple years ago when we had Mark Melancon closing games. That was certainly a time in our lives. But, I mean, a B+, I'm fine with. B is what I feel like, though. So, I don't think he's someone we have to trade. If we do, cool. Obviously, we have the pieces to fill in his hole. But that's not weird. But you know what I mean. So I'm indifferent. If we trade him, cool. If we don't, happy for him. Next is the and I'm going to say this not lightheartedly, I'm going to genuinely mean this, the best player for the Padres this year, hands down, relief pitcher Adrian Morejon. They gave him an A+. I gave him an A++. Breakout season, 185 ERA over 47 high leverage appearances. All-star nod. His two-seamer yielded just 190 average with low exit velocity. Morejon is not only my favorite piece out of the rotation or the bullpen, he's the best pitcher on this team. Starters, closers, relievers, he's the best pitcher on this team. And I know there's some crazy pitchers on this team, but I think Morejon has to be the best. Genuinely has to be the best. So that's why he's an A++. Just look at him pitch. He hasn't given up an earned run besides the All-Star game, but that doesn't count. He hasn't given up an earned run in like, what, a month or something like that? So how can you look at that and be like, he's not an A++ player? I'm so happy for Morejon. People say you want him to close. I think making him close hurts his value. I think the value of Morejon is that A, he can go multiple innings, and B, he can literally come in at any point and do his thing. I think hurting his flexibility by making him closer is like the worst decision you can make. We'll move on to another pitcher who's doing really good this year, Jeremiah Estrada. They gave him an A. I gave him an A-. A sub-3 ERA with dominant changeup splitter usage, 41 misses on 75 swings. Heavy off-speed use complemented a rising 98 fastball. So yeah, Estrada's been good. He's always been good. Sometimes he doesn't look great, but he usually bounces back from that. But he'll have small stretches where like his command looks off or he's just throwing up meatballs. So that's why I gave him an A-, because I feel like I don't want to say could have been better, but I guess technically, yeah, but he's still really good. You can't say a sub-3 RA is not good. So Jeremiah Estrada genuinely can be a closer on this team once Suarez or like Adam leaves. He could be our closer, honestly. I like him as a reliever, so I hope not. But you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And that's why I think Jeremiah Estrada is a good pick. Next, we'll move on to a couple more relievers. Oops, there we go. Okay, so relief pitcher Jason Adam, A, my grade, A-. Dominant 170 ERA with a 35% whiff rate and an all-star selection. Slider has been elite. Fastball continues to overpower hitters. So yeah, I mean, obviously, Jason Adam, you know what you're going to get with him. You're going to get solid eighth inning appearances where he doesn't allow very many runs. The reason I gave him an A- is like same thing as Jeremiah Estrada. He's been rocky at points. And I feel like recently he's been kind of, shaky. Like he hasn't instilled me with a lot of confidence that he'll be able to be shut down like always. But I mean, he's still shutting people down, and a 170 ERA is probably the best, almost the best reliever-wise in the MLB. So never going to complain about that. And the most appearances in the entire league for a reliever. So take with that information as you will. But Jason Adam, always going to be solid. If we trade Robert Suarez, he's my pick for the backup. Or I guess not, backup closer if Suarez leaves, the closer, in my opinion. Next is going to be a hot take. Wandy Peralta with a B. And guess what? I agree. I'm not a Wandy Peralta lover. You know me. I'm a low-key Wandy Peralta hater, but I don't hate the way he pitched recently, especially this year. Relies on ground balls and a deadly changeup, 197 against, and versatile and durable with a 361 ERA in 42 games. The way some of you guys talk about Wandy Peralta, you make it seem like he has like a 5 ERA or something. He doesn't. He's been genuinely pretty solid. Okay, sorry, someone needed me real quick. But Wandy Peralta, like I said, you guys are hating on him too hard. I mean, he's been really good. I'm trying to bring up his stats right now so I can fill you in on him. But a 361 ERA, I will take that from any reliever. If I showed you Wandy Peralta's stats and I didn't show you it was Wandy Peralta, you know what I mean? Like I just showed you the stats, not the name. You would call him a good reliever. You would. And if you say no, you're lying. Last 7 games, 257 ERA. Last 15, 314. Last 30, 470. So obviously not great, but when you need him to let's put it this way, right? When your expectations for Wandy Peralta are the highest, sometimes he doesn't come through. But when they're at their all-time lowest and you stop caring, he does really good. So maybe he can't handle pressure. Yes and no. I mean, there's been times where we put him out in a pressure situation and he's done good. And there's times where you put him in one and he did horribly. But you could say that about any of our pitchers, to be honest. So I'm actually happy with Wandy. I don't think he's an A or B plus. I think B is fine because he does have bad starts and bad games, or bad relief appearances. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm okay with Wandy Peralta right now. Yuki Matsui, on the other hand, I love Yuki Matsui, but he's a C. Well, they gave him a C. I gave him a C plus. Has regressed with a 5.05 ERA and increased hard contact. His splitter isn't fooling hitters like it did in 2024. I do want to say the reason I gave him a C plus is because he started off the year really good. Like, he was a really good reliever to start the year, and then slowly, he started falling off, and he had really horrible games that really affected his ERA and all that. So it hurts because I like Yuki Pookie, but he has not been great. I don't think we should trade him away. I still think there's value to his pitching, but it hurts. It hurts to see a 5 ERA, especially on a piece that we rely on to go, or I rely on to face good left-handed pitchers. Because say we're in the playoffs and we're playing Ohtani, right? We're obviously going to use Morejon, but then who are you going to use next, right? Wandy Peralta, Morejon. We've already seen these happen real time. So you want Yuki and Wandy. Well, Wandy's pretty good, but Yuki, we want to see Yuki play better, just in general. But yeah, I have to switch out my graphics because I ran out. So give me a second. I'm going to stop this recording and I'll put the new one in a second. So give me a second. Okay, we're back. So 3 more players. Like I said before, we forgot Steven Kolek, so I had to add him in at the end because ChatGPT made a mistake, believe it or not. I guess we'll start with Steven Kolek real quick, even though he's on the bottom. So Steven Kolek, they gave him a C. I think that's kind of harsh. I gave him a B minus. Impressed early during a complete game at Coors Field, struggled afterward, and was sent back to AAA for refinement. I think for what we've asked of Steven Kolek, he's done a pretty good job. Not amazing, right? Like, he's had pretty poor games, but he's had really good games too. And this is his first year being a starter. I think that's worthy of a B minus. I think C is a little too harsh. I think he's not as good as Berger, right? But for the injuries we have and probably will continue to have, because injuries happen, it's baseball, I think I'm okay with having Steven Kolek at the 4 or 5 slot, not the playoffs, unless he pitches like amazing. But for what he's done and the jobs we've asked him to do, I'm happy with Steven Kolek. And then 2 of my little 3. I don't have B-Rod, but I do have 2 of my little 3. Relief pitcher David Morgan. They gave him an A. I gave him a B, and I'll explain why in a sec. But his fastball reached 100.4 miles per hour. Both slider and curve have elite whiff or low average results. Shows immediate promise in relief role despite being unranked preseason. So yes, he's really good. Probably has the best stuff out of the little 3 that I have. B-Rod, Sean Reynolds, David Morgan has the best stuff, I think. I just don't think he's done enough to warrant an A. I think if he pitches for the rest of the year and pitches the same way he has been, then that'll warrant an A. But I think he needs to do a little bit more in order to warrant an A. Not that he's pitched bad and deserves to be. I just think he could do, or he needs to pitch more. He's only had, 17 games? 2.14 ERA. Fantastic, right? But in 17 games, let's let him play a little bit longer and see what we got. Sean Reynolds, B minus. I gave him a B plus. So started slow, but became more reliable in middle relief and finished with a 3.97 ERA and solid strikeout numbers over 22.2 innings. So, yeah, I remember when we first brought him up in Colorado, he got lit up. Second start, he got lit up. So his numbers look kind of bloated because of those poor starts. But there's been times when Sean Reynolds has looked amazing. Last 30 games, well, he's only played 30 games, so obviously 3.97 ERA. But last 15 games, 2.14 ERA. Last 7 games, 2.84 ERA. He could be one of the best pieces in our bullpen in the future. And he's 27. Like, he's still relatively young. We still have him for a few years now, so I like Sean Reynolds. You should too. If you don't know who Sean Reynolds is, do some research because he's one of our best. I don't know if I can say he's one of our best pieces in the bullpen yet, but I'm saying he could be. He could be. Okay, and that is all we have for the player rankings. That was like 40 minutes of straight talking. I'm already tired. But Andrew, your job's to talk. How could you be tired? Because I don't know. I couldn't come up with an excuse. But with that, we are going to talk about the overall team grading, like offense, defense. This is not from an article. This is straight from the me hole, right from my brain. So let's jump into that real quick. Okay, so switching over, Padres offense. I gave them a C. Started off hot, simmered till cold, and is now lukewarm. Some players have played great at times, while the rest played okay at best. Bottom of the lineup is a crutch. So, of course, I have some numbers to show you, if I remember where they are. Standard team batting. So, top 10 are the above, top 10 are above, bottom 10 are below. This was sorted by runs. I know runs aren't the do-all, die-all of offensive stats, but runs are a good way to see how good your offense is. Let's put it that way, right? Obviously, teams like the Dodgers, Cubs, Yankees are top 3 with 500, over 500. We are close to the bottom. We are, let's see, mathematics, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25th in runs. 383 runs scored so far this year. Braves are a little better than us, 388. So runs haven't been a great thing for us to come around to. I mean, home runs too. We're definitely near the bottom at home runs. We're at 83 so far. Again, this is on Friday, so this next series apart. So yeah, offense. It's been good. It's been bad. It's been okay. It's been great. It's the biggest problem, like we said in the middle area. There has been hot stretches for some batters, but these hot stretches come when the rest of the team is not playing as great. So we can never really find consistency in our entire team, not just the players, but our entire team, unlike the beginning of the year where everyone was hot literally all the time. So that's why I just don't think anything better than a C fits the Padres offense. We're a mid offense, and that's why we put a C. Next, of course, the Padres defense. 48 team errors so far, 14th in the league. I should probably say the ranking. Padres defense, a B minus. 48 team errors so far, 14th in the league. Still good, but not as good as before. Great plays, but simple mistakes. So yeah, I mean, the defense hasn't looked like horrible this year. It's obviously not as good as it's been. Like, I remember we've had like top 10 defenses for the past couple of years, I feel like. But this year, it's not bad. It's just like, you can see the way it's not been as good, if that makes sense. You can visually see the way the defense has played. So again, 48 team errors, 14th in the league, not bad. It's mid, right? But there has been some great plays. One player, obviously, Manny Machado, but an underrated player, Jose Iglesias, has made some amazing defensive plays and that like have literally won games for us before. Like that Giants game where he caught that like fast line drive at third base and basically saved the game for us. So there's been really good plays, but there's been simple mistakes. Like the game, I think it was on Sunday against the Phillies, where I think it was Nick Pivetta pitching, and they gave up stupid errors, and they gave up some runs. So simple mistakes kill us, but great plays save us. That's baseball. So that's why I think B minus is fair. It's not horrible. It's not great. It's a B minus. Next, of course, Padres rotation, a B plus. Which might be a hot take, right? But injuries held back full potential of the rotation. Cease a disappointment so far, and underrated names have stepped up. So we've talked about players already. Dylan Cease with a D. Not a great performance from him. Is an overstatement? An overstatement? Whatever. He's been bad, right? I think he can do better, obviously, but he has hurt this team pitching-wise. And of course, I already kind of showed you that graphic. But again, sorted by ERA. Always, ERA is not a be-all, die-all stat for pitching, but it's an easy way for people to digest. We're still good at ERA, right? So Rangers, Royals, Giants, Mets, Astros, and then us. We have a 364. Rangers have a 328. And they have some really good starters in the Rangers. Like Jacob deGrom's back, Evaldi's back. Like, they are really good over there. Offensive-wise, not as great, but that doesn't matter, right? Ooh, my voice is cracked. Sorry. That doesn't matter, right? We're talking about pitching. And pitching-wise, Padres, pretty good. Could be better, but still, bullpen-wise, rotation-wise, pretty good. No complaining about that. Michael King coming back will probably, hopefully, boost up our bullpen. Yu Darvish coming back to like full Yu Darvish will also help our rotation. So this could be an easy A rotation grade once we get everyone back. And again, if someone does get injured, we have people like Ryan Bergert, Steven Kolek to come in and clean things up and hold the fort down, as you could say. Padres bullpen, of course, A-. The four horsemen are elite. Yes, Suarez too. Other relievers do a fine job, and so much depth in the minors. Yes, I know Suarez has a 3.54 ERA and hasn't looked as good so far recently than he has been before, but again, you don't get 28 saves by being a bad pitcher. It's just simple as that, right? You have to be a good pitcher to get a lot of saves. I mean, you could be an okay pitcher and get a lot of saves, but my point still stands, right? Four horsemen, obviously, Suarez, Adam, Estrada, and Morejon. The best of the best. They could be closers on any team in this MLB, besides maybe like the best, like the Giants, because they have a great bullpen, obviously. But the other relievers do a fine job, besides like Yuki, who's done pretty poor. Like, again, we talked about it before, but Wandy Peralta's a good pitcher right now. And then the other relievers we bring up. So, like, again, like I said, the depth, we have Sean Reynolds, David Morgan, B-Rod, that one guy whose name I already forgot that we brought up. I was like, Yunel Rodriguez. So, no, that was the Giants closer. I already forgot his name. Nunez? Whatever. But we have so much depth in the minors that, like, we're stacked on bullpen for not just this year, but like years to come. Genuinely. So that's why we're an A-. This has been the best bullpen I've seen in a long time. And I remember back in the day when we had like Brad Hand as our closer. It was like Brad Hand, Kirby Yates. Was it Brandon Maurer? Remember Brandon Maurer? We've had Padres have always had good bullpens and good bullpen coaches besides like a Larry Rothschild. So bullpen's always been great. Let's put it that way, right? Next, we'll move on to whatever the next thing was because I already forgot. Padres overall. Padres overall so far this season, a B. Honestly, better than I expected before the season. Players not living up to potential, but still a lot of heart in this team. Honestly, I was super discouraged going into the year. Like, I thought this was a 500 team at best, and I just saw the bottom of our lineup, and I was just like, disgusting. So, while it hasn't, I guess, been up to standards that we would expect from the expectations that were set at the beginning of the year for us, I think we've done a fine job at holding off for the disadvantages we have, like the injuries and such. Now, if a Dodger fan watches this, they're going to be like, we're doing great, and our entire rotation is injured, so screw you, Andrew. First of all, why are you 50 minutes into a podcast episode about the Padres? Get a life. Secondly, though, I don't care. I don't care about you. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, if you would have told me that this is the position we would have been in, like if you gave me no details whatsoever, but just told me the record we'd be at the beginning of the year, I think this would have been a successful season so far. You know what I mean? But again, obviously, we've talked about players not living up to potential. We've seen it. Tatis, Merrill, you could say Yuki too, Dylan Cease. It's gonna hurt, but I think it'll even out eventually. And obviously, still a lot of heart in this team. We've seen comebacks, and I think I showed you guys the record with one-run games. Yeah, we are 21-14, fourth in the league. Number one, the Astros at 19-18. 19-8. And then LA is kind of surprising. They're 18-11. But we have heart in one-run games. I was kind of worried about our offense, the fact that like sometimes it's like we have to shut them out or we won't win because our offense does bad. But I digress. But yeah, I mean, I could show you this stuff again because Dylan Cease, not great. Bullpen ERA is second, 3.24. I guess I got to show you that. Second, 3.24. San Francisco, 3.16. And then other stats that if you want to look at, feel free. It doesn't really help or hurt my point. Runners in scoring position does kind of hurt, though. Look at us, 28th. OPS with runners in scoring position, 28th. 653 OPS. Not great, but honestly, overall, this year has been good. It's good, not great, not amazing. It's been good. This is a playoff team with some small moves. I want to make a shopping list video to talk about what kind of moves we need to make this team like really good. But we're a good team. Just iron some things out. Dylan Cease iron out his pitching mechanics, like I talked about in that one video I just posted. Tatis find his homers. Merrill find his clutchness. Just play solid baseball. We don't need hero ball. We don't need players to like carry the team like Merrill did second half. We just need solid baseball. Solid fundamentals, solid swings, solid coaching wise to like be solid, and get the best out of the players, I think we'll be fine. I think we're a playoff team. I don't care what position in the wild card we make it. I don't think we're going to win the division. So I don't care what wild card position we make. Let's just get hot. Let's win the whole thing. And that's all I got to say. Thank you guys so much for listening to this very, 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 very long episode. Again, I want it to be kind of a podcast. I don't think I'll have any more that are just long, but there was a lot to talk about. So if you like this kind of episode, podcast kind of thing, let me know. I can make more of these. They obviously take a while for me to make because it took me an hour to record. So watch a lot of it and I'll make more of it. But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about everything. Do you agree with people's grades? Do you agree with my grades? Do you think the team overall is good? Do you think the team overall is bad? And just what kind of things do you want me to talk about on a Padres podcast? Let me know. I want to make this for you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day and week. Hope your day at work go well. What? I'm in English. I hope your day at work goes well, whatever. And have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye. And please subscribe. Please subscribe. Okay, now goodbye.